Hi, I'm Louie. I'm the founder and managing director of Learners CIC, who host Our House, which is Wakefield's LGBTQ plus community centre. So we're based in Wakefield and we support LGBTQ plus people to access safe spaces and opportunities to come together, socialise, share their life experiences and build community together. I think the three words that best describe us are community, safety and fun. Oh, just because I've been listening to it this morning, I'd say probably Aretha Franklin, respect, just because Aretha Franklin is a queer icon in her own right, but also I think what we're doing here is building a space where people can feel respected in who they are, and sending a clear message to the city and to the region that LGBT people deserve respect and human rights. Basically, we were inspired to start Our House, the LGBT centre here, coming out of lockdown really. So Learners CIC is a community interest company, a very small community interest company, and we did a lot of work over lockdown, mainly online, supporting LGBT people through mentoring, empowerment workshops, employment workshops, employability workshops. But through lockdown, we all got massively fatigued. Everyone we worked with and the team ourselves, we got massively fatigued with living online. And through a little bit of funding that we got to work with a community in Wakefield, we did some workshops around supporting people to see, to discover what their authentic selves are and what they wanted from their future. And so many people that we talked to in Wakefield told us that there was a lack of places to go, and there was nowhere to come together really, apart from pubs, which pubs are great if you are of a certain age, you drink alcohol, you like that kind of vibe, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people want a sober space to come to. So we decided Wakefield would be a really good place, and I live locally, so we thought we'd give it a shot. In terms of funding and resources, we actually secured the building initially through the Makey Wakey scheme, working with the Art House. So we were given the unit on a temporary lease where we didn't actually have to pay any rent on it initially. And so we had a lot of freedom in the beginning to try new things, which was incredible for us. And we realised very quickly that there was a real need for the centre and the space. There was a lot of interest in people wanting to get involved, volunteer, and come and just be part of what we were doing here. That's unfortunately now changed. So now we have a lease where we actually have to pay rent now. So the challenges are kind of ahead of us in terms of funding and securing the space and making sure that the project that we've built is sustainable long term. Since we set up here, we've had lots and lots of different messages sent through social media, word of mouth, people telling us that actually, they've moved away from Wakefield over the years and they're LGBT, and they've told us that this kind of space would have been life-changing for them, and if they'd had this growing up, that they might not have kind of ran away to a big city somewhere, some people in London, some people in Manchester, some people in Leeds. So we really have started kind of changing the narrative about Wakefield being a place where LGBT people can stay and belong and are welcome. And that's one of the things that we've really seen. And actually, we have a volunteer that's working with us who is actually from outside of Wakefield. And since she's got involved and she's found a community here, and she's actually ended up moving to the city because of the community that she's built for herself through the space. So we think that's a really positive thing, that people feel safe and welcome and free to be themselves in Wakefield. So Oh gosh, there's been so many, I don't know what to pick. I think the most memorable event that we've had has probably been the Makers Market. So, and we're doing more of these events, the Makers Fairs, shall I say, throughout the year, through some funding that we've got through the culture grants with Wakefield Council. But the Makers Fair is basically given an opportunity for LGBT creators, small business owners, artists to sell their wares, and given our community a chance to come and buy really cool stuff that they know is made by the community. So it just felt like a really nice community kind of economy, really, where we were kind of spending our money in ways that we know is going to support our friends and our colleagues and our communities. Do you know what I mean? So that felt really good, and it was really, really popular. And there's just been loads of other different types of events. We've had theatre performances, we've had book signings and readings with authors, writers groups. We've had loads of different types of activity happening, and it's just been really amazing to see how this space has been really dynamic and used for lots of different things. Pride Month is an interesting one at the moment. I mean, I've worked in the LGBT sector for coming up to 10 years now, and I've seen Pride really change from kind of a real community celebration to now it feels a lot more like an opportunity to discuss topics and issues that the community are facing. And more it feels like an opportunity for education and allyship, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but I think sometimes it's actually more about organisations marking their support for the LGBT community. Obviously, we have our Pride Days and our celebrations, and that's amazing. But for a lot of LGBT people, things are difficult at the moment. So it feels like a fight sometimes with Pride. It's like sometimes you have to feel like you're spending your whole life trying to galvanise support from people and allies, that sometimes Pride Month can feel a little bit exhausting, if I'm honest. I mean, I do a lot of speaking engagements during Pride, so it's just a very heavy work time for us, and we're here 365 days a year, so sometimes it feels like the month kind of is a token, is a symbol, but it's about the rest of the year as well. That's sometimes the message that I want to get across when we talk about Pride Month. I would say Pride Month is a really excellent opportunity to take stock about what your organisation does and offers for LGBTQ plus people all the year round. It's not just a month to put flags up in the office and think, yeah, we're really good people. It's a time to really think about, it's a time to highlight, obviously, your support, but I think if you're not doing that alongside a kind of strategy that leads you into the rest of the year, it's kind of meaningless. And we're seeing that more and more with larger organisations who are kind of slapping rainbows on things, but actually some of the actions further along the line aren't really showing up for LGBT people. So I think actions speak louder than words. It's not just about that month, it's about all year round. So take stock, basically, of what you're doing for LGBT people. I think my top tip is if you aren't listening or have an audience with LGBT people, then make sure you do. The most important thing I think is to speak to LGBTQ plus individuals that you work with. If you don't know any people, you can talk to organisations like us about working with us and helping you understand how you can provide the best possible services for LGBTQ plus people. I always like to say that, LGBT people are some of the most talented, joyful, amazing people, probably because of some of what we've experienced, some of our kind of challenges that we've had and had to overcome. We're often very innovative, we're good to be around, especially when it comes to business. This is what I always say when I work with larger companies and talk to them about LGBT inclusion. So, if we're not around your table, then I'd ask yourself why not, and then go and find some people and make sure that we're involved in what you're doing, because we're everywhere. I would think that, you know, if I was to say any specific responsibility, I would probably say, you know, to examine your own offer, your own service, your own, what are you providing? Is it accessible? Are LGBT people, do they feel safe coming through your doors, accessing your services? But also a little bit of a selfish shout out, you know, we're on the verge of doing a big fundraiser here. So if we want spaces like this to exist in Wakefield and make Wakefield known for being a friendly LGBTQ plus city, I think, you know, we're going to need everyone. We're going to need all hands on deck. So a bit of a call out, really, if there's any way that you can support us in our fundraising efforts over the next few months, over 2023, you know, we would be really grateful if you'd get in touch. The long-term goal of our house is that it is here long-term, it is sustainable. We have an offer for LGBT people in the city for generations to come, not just a flash in the pan 12 months where we do some really cool stuff. We really think that Wakefield needs a space like this, whether it's in this venue particularly or, you know, somewhere else. We're really committed to making sure that, you know, we're here for the long run. And I think our call to anyone watching this would just be to promote what you see we're doing on social media, to promote us amongst your colleagues and your friends, and let people know that we're here. Because the more people that know about us, the more people that use our venue for venue hire, or the more people that come to our events and support our cafe, the more likelihood that we are going to be able to be here for the future.